Okay, friends, welcome back at another session and also the last session of the recapitulation. And we have seen the doer, thinker. Now we will see the knower today, which is important part of the triune self. Before we go there, let us meditate on the consciousness of possible for a few minutes and let his wisdom flow through every one of us. Please sit in a meditative posture, cross your legs, clasp your hands, and close your eyes. Please notice your breath. Percival gave us a complete identity that we are not alone. We are a complete triune self with a doer, thinker, and knower. But with our ignorance, we are thinking we are just a doer. With that ignorance, we are under the impression we can do some things, we cannot do some things. We can achieve few things, we cannot achieve few things. So this is the ignorance we are all living today. But with your deep meditations, meditational practices, if you can touch beyond the knower, if you can touch thinker portion, the righteousness and reasoning will come into place. Once you started thinking of the reasoning, once you know what is right, what's not, you would lead your life definitely a better way. And it leads you to the knower. Knower being omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, all knowing. You are the conscious of your consciousness. There's nothing that you can do and cannot do because you are that consciousness. To understand that, let's move on to knower today. Please rub your palms, keep on your eyes for a few seconds, and open your eyes with a beautiful smile on your face. Before we go for the knower of the triune self, let's recap what we learned, a thinker of the triune self. Balagaru, over to you.
Thank you, Prasanna. So today we'll go through the last session of the section 5, recapitulation of thinker of the triune self. So here the thinker and it resides in the mental atmosphere. And also it is in communion with the doer and the knower. And together they form the triune self. We all know by now. So this communion happens through mental breath. He says, it happens through the mental breath. A subtle connection channel. This is a subtle connection channel. That is how the three together they come in communion with. The thinker uses the conscious light of intelligence, which is loaned, to thinker. Whenever that short time. Functions of the thinker. What are those functions? It allows the embodied doer, okay, to use the three of the seven minds to pursue the desires through the thinking. So these are simultaneously, it brings guidance from the knower to the human. It shows what should be done, and it also warns against the wrongdoing. So that is the thinker job. It warns when we go the wrong way. The seven minds, what are the, we'll go through those seven minds. The seven minds are distinct ways of using the light of intelligence in thinking. And so all these seven minds, they use different light of intelligence. And these seven minds are centered in reasoning, the active side of the thinker. The reasoning is the active side of the thinker. Though it is different, they're united under one principle to hold the light of intelligence steadily on the subject of the thinking. So that is how we focus on two sets of minds are there. One is perfect mind, the other one is imperfect mind. A perfect mind it uses the thinker and the knower. So minds using rightness and reason. So here rightness and reason, they come, we know that they come under the thinker. And the mind using I-ness and selfness is the knower. So these four minds, which are the rightness, reason, and I-ness and selfness, these four minds think perfectly, steadily, and independent of the body. So it doesn't use the body mind. Imperfect mind, it uses the doer, and it uses the body mind, feeling mind, and desire mind, those three minds. So perfect mind uses those four, and then imperfect mind uses the three of body, mind, feeling, and desire mind. These are dependent on the heart and lungs, hence bodily based and imperfect. So usually only the body mind is effectively used by the human being, and never more than three minds at once. So he's saying most of the time we use only body mind. So what happens after the death, the functioning? After the death, these minds, which the body mind, feeling mind, desire mind, automatically repeat the thinking pattern from the past life. So whatever thoughts we have, we keep going on, the same pattern. Role of the reasoning mind. Always the reasoning mind is in touch with the knower through the human, though the human is not aware of it. He says always the reasoning mind is in touch with the knower, even though we are not aware of it. It dispenses destiny, and it is the executor of the karmic outcome. So the role of the reasoning mind is always, because it executes, it says, karmic outcomes, destiny. So what are the specific minds expressed, seven minds explained? Body mind, it works with the senses, but thinking is done by the mind, not the senses. It handles the perception. So by reflecting on sensory impressions, creates conceptions by focusing the light on perception. Body mind uses logic. It also we use in business, politics, law, science, and religion, and material affairs. In all these we use the body mind. It is what is called mind in everyday use. It is also responsible for constructing the visible world by objectifying natural elements. So we all know, for this we use all these our senses to fulfill our desires. And the next one is feeling mind. It should serve feeling, but it's mostly controlled by the body mind. Hence, and diverted towards bodily needs. Body and also it expresses feelings through language, music, arts, dance, and cooking tools, etc. It rarely we use it, he says rarely used correctly, the feeling mind. When it produces originality and excellence in creative expression. He says we rarely use this feeling mind perfectly. But when we use perfectly, he says we can create the creative expression. Those who uses it effectively becomes poets, artists, musicians, dancers, craftsmen, and the explorers, etc. Success also depends on having a suitable body dominated by corresponding elementals. So also we should have a corresponding correct elementals in our body. Desire mind. This mind would think of desires and its manifestation, because that's why it is desire mind. Like the feeling mind, often it is misused under the control of the body mind. The mind of rightness. So here the purpose of what is the purpose? To evaluate and hold the conscious light of intelligence brought by the reason and selfness. And it is not directly used by humans. Here, he says, we never use this particular rightness. The humans never use for properly. Rightness is part of the thinker aspect of the triune self, and it is responsible for moral judgments. That is, whether it is right or wrong, what should we do. So that is what we use this rightness mind. It is compared to the heart in its vital importance. He says this is In the way, heart is important in our body, that is how this rightness also, he says, very important. It holds a little flame of conscious light. This flame is what makes one human. It inherently knows what is right or wrong according to the light of intelligence. The mind, the reasoning mind. Here the purpose, what is the, to think by reason. It leads the conscious light into topics brought by desire. This is the main mind used by humans today for thinking. So it helps to process external stimuli and internal urges using logic and thought. So if for this reason we use for only for this stimuli and internal urges, using our logic mind. The little invisible flame in the heart is steady when the thinking is correct, but it flickers when the thinking is not correct. That is how it happens, he's saying. Whereas the mind of reason extends from the lungs to the brain, rightness never leaves the heart. So that is how it operates. It whenever the mind and reasoning it extends further, it goes from the lungs to the brain, it seems. The mind of I-ness. So how does it work? The purpose of this is communication with the I-ness, the sense of identity. It is used by I-ness, the false ego, not by humans directly. When one can consciously access it, they transcend being merely human. So once they have the right I-ness, he says we can transcend the human body. Light. It brings light from the noetic atmosphere to identity actions of the other minds. It communicates who the human thinks they are. So, that's how we get the viveka, the, what is right or what is wrong. That the mind of selfness, next one. The purpose is for communication with the selfness, which is the self-knowledge, higher self-knowledge, the deeper eternal self, not accessible to the human. So it is always, it is the knower, and it is in noetic atmosphere. It flashes light of conscience, that is sum of moral knowledge to rightness, thus warnings and guiding. It also gives knowledge to reasoning, but rarely it happens to humans. Rarely the humans acquires consciously to grasp it. Even though it gives the reasoning, it gives the light to the reasoning, but he says that rarely humans use this. Implications for human development. If a human could access the mind of I-ness and selfness, even as much as they now use body mind, they would know who they are, a conscious immortal being. He says normally humans are not using these two, the I-ness and selfness. If they use like the body mind, they can easily access the conscious immortal being. They can understand their destiny and then role of the eternal self. He says we can understand easily and the role of eternal triune self and reach the destiny. The nature of minds is composed of thinker matter, not life matter or nature matter. They do not function by biological processes. Their efforts hold conscious light on the thoughts of subjects. Their influence leads to change in the life world, especially when humans attempt to think. So when humans attempt to think passively. And the next one, interaction of minds and the human body. These feeling and desire minds can affect the physical body through the feelings and emotions. They do not affect the knower, as they are not directed towards the knower in their activity, because we know that knower is always not in the body. So knower is not affected, but because of feeling and this body gets affected. Rightness and significance. Rightness is equal to passive side of the thinker. It acts as an inner moral compass. It has some clear light. It has a channel from the heart into the noetic atmosphere, a realm of higher knowledge. Natural tendency to be right in the light of intelligence. It has natural tendency. In ideal conditions, rightness and reason work in harmony, like feeling and desire to do naturally. That is how he says in normal ideal conditions, they work in harmony, rightness and reasoning. Corruption by desire. In most humans, desire replaces rightness in the heart. Okay, that's what in human body, because of body mind, reason influenced by feeling and desire ends up serving desire rather than aligning with the rightness. So that is what, instead of going to the rightness, we go to the feeling and we end up serving the desire. Hence, the moral center is overpowered and distorted by urges and emotions. And finally, the conclusion is true self-awareness and moral clarity lies beyond ordinary human reach, and it requires evolution towards consciously working with higher minds, which are higher minds here are I-ness and selfness. So we need to use those two to go to ascend, restoring the rightful inner order with rightness and reasoning in balance, not dominated by the feeling or desire or body mind. It is the key to spiritual awakening. So we need to use, instead of body mind or desire mind, we used to use the other two higher minds. That's it. Thanks, Prasanna, for the.
Thank you. Thank you for the quick recap of Thinker. Without wasting time, let's go to that knower of the triune self. Okay. Yeah, by now we all know what's that thing, what's a knower, right? Because doer, as we are all thinking, thinker is a bit that when we started thinking, and a knower is not at all in touch with the human, they are above, but with intentionally, with the deep meditations, with intentionally only we can touch that knower. So the moment you start touch that knower means you will be able to understand the things very clearly. So you will go in that ultimate state of that enlightenment or anything, right? Once you touch the knower means you are going to that, you are understanding that you are an omniscient, omnipotent, you are that part of that supreme consciousness, in our words, if we have to tell. Okay, so if you touch that means it is that's the way that we all want to go. That's where so you will become that complete triune self. Okay, the knower is the knower is a third part of our triune self, doer, thinker, and the knower, right? So knower is a self knowledge. Knower is like Atma Gnanam, whatever it is, right? So it's a self-knowledge, soul thing, that what it came to do it, right? Knowledge is the triune self. So as a soul in the sense, as a soul, you know everything. Because as a soul, you are the one who designed this life and came. You know, like to which family you need to born, to whom you need to get married, and to whom, where your major part of the decisions you have taken as a pure soul, because depending on your karmic bondage, or depending on the things that you wanted to do, because everybody came to this world to serve others in certain way. One may want to do work on a health kind of thing. One may wanted to do just some kind of study, means teaching kind of thing. So different things, but everybody came with some kind of purpose. But we forgot with the Maya or illusion or whatever it is, we forgot and we started living ourselves because we are thinking we are just the doers. Okay. So, knower is a self-knowledge, knowledge of the triune self, which does not change. It will not change to you and to me. Okay, doer as a doer, you are different, I am different. Whether we are living in the separatedness. Okay, if I go to the thinker, righteousness reasoning, you have one kind of righteousness, means you feel this is right and I feel that is the different thing. But as a knower, there's no difference. Whatever you know, whatever I know is the same thing. So we are all the one being there. Okay, triune self will not does not change, right? So it acts as a self knowledge. It is when it acts as self knowledge, when he knows that know your identity, you are all the same. When the thoughts are balanced as a knowledge, and you are conscious of your consciousness, then it is acquired. When it is acquired by the human being, not by the knower, then you are that triune self, that you are that balanced body. Suppose you will get to know as a knower when you are in the after death world. That's a different. But when you are in the human being, if you are able to balance your thoughts and feelings, then you will be able to achieve that knower thing. Okay, that is what we are trying to do here. Not as after death, you and me also will get to know there. Okay, what is right, what is wrong. We know that as a pure soul, you know everything. I-ness is the passive side of the knower, whereas selfness is the active side of the knower. Okay, I-ness is undying, It's a continuous, unchanging, self-name, self-conscious identity of the triune self. It is not dying. Soul is not dying, right? It is only the body is the one which is dying. And where, in which atmosphere this knower will be there? In noetic atmosphere. That's where the I-ness and selfness is there, right? It is a clear light of intelligence. Knower is clear light of intelligence. It witnesses, identifies the feelings and desires that are carried by the thinker, but is untouched and unaffected by those changes. It witnesses what you are doing, but it is still unaffected. Like Ramana Maharshi said, right? How are you? Somebody asked, I'm doing fine. What you are doing fine? You are suffering with the cancer. Then why do you say you are doing fine? Yes, my body is suffering. So that knower portion was not actually unshaken. So he's able to separate, right? So the knower portion, even though he's touching the thinker, because through thinker only you can go to the knower, but the thoughts or the things, desires, all those things, he was untouched. The knower is untouched by that. Neither a reason or a righteousness can also interfere. They cannot, even forget about the doer, even thinker cannot interfere the knower. Only you can get the loan, the light from the knower, but you cannot try to influence, right? So I-ness does not interfere any of it. Similarly, I-ness also will not come and interfere. Only if you go there, then only will go. Like us, you and me, if you know something, if somebody is saying, we will go and give the advice, free advice. Knower will not do that. Even though it is omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, but it waits until you go there, until you touch that knower portion. Nothing can approach that I-ness or cannot stand in that clear light until you get to that stage. Then only when the doer does not communicate with it, it's not conscious. It stays there. If doer try to communicate with the knower, then only it will tell you. Okay. The I-ness and selfness of the knower are not in the body. That is very clear, right? They are not in the body. The feeling of the body feels I-ness and thinks itself as I, but that is ego I. That's not I-ness. Whatever we think, I am Prasanna, I am so and so, I am all this is ego I-ness. Don't confuse that with the actual I-ness. This is all the ego that I have with the body mind. The desire of the body is also thinks that it is the self. I want to meditate and want to become. That I'm thinking that, oh, I know that self-knowledge. So that is also not the self-knowledge. Again, that's where you'll get spiritual ego. In first case, you are getting a human ego, and second case, you are getting a spiritual ego. Both are not I-ness. Okay. The self is only desire of the human. This self, whatever is a desire of the human. It's not that selfness. The feeling and desire, whatever that human being feeling and desire with that, whatever the knowledge that they are gaining is only confined to body and thinking. But they are not touching that knower portion. Once you touch the knower portion, you will not identify yourself like that. You will not identify like that. You yourself will separate from your body to yourself, like Ramana Maharshi example I gave, right? They will separate. They will not say, suppose if somebody asks who are you and give a profile, I'll give this big profile. That is all my body mind. I still have that I did this means it is all body mind. If you reach to that stage, oh, that is not there. I'm just the consciousness, a part of consciousness. That's the stage, right? When you reach to that I-ness. So did we reach all that I-ness? No. We know theoretically what exactly the I-ness. Okay. The good ones cause the desire of ideal or a higher self. The bad ones cause the desire of evil or a lower self. In our body, if you are causing that something like a very great kind of thing, great in the sense service, mind, all that thing means you are touching with your higher self. Suppose you are evil oriented, you want to grab the things, you want to cheat the people, that is you are with the lower self. But these two are not the I-ness or selfness. These two are not the knower portions. That's what we have to remember. Selfness and I-ness differ in each other. In I-ness is a continuous thing. The soul is a continuous thing, persistent identity without beginning and end. There's no beginning and there's no end for the soul, right? So that is the I-ness. Whereas selfness is the knowledge without beginning, end, or a break. And selfness is a knowledge. I-ness is an identity without beginning and end, whereas selfness is a knowledge without beginning and end. Is it clear? What is I-ness and selfness? So these two together is the knower. Okay. Selfness and I-ness are related to what?
Prasanna, can you repeat it? Selfness, you're saying it's knowledge, no end, no beginning.
Yes.
I-ness?
I-ness is identity.
Identity with no beginning?
Without beginning and without end.
Without beginning only.
So the soul, where it comes, if you come, right, there is there anything? Sirisha took like 100 lifetimes. Is it that first lifetime is your beginning? Even before that you exist. So
yes.
Identity started, identity you are thinking it as 100th lifetime it started, but before that you are that part of consciousness in animal kingdom. The same consciousness is part of the plant kingdom. The same consciousness is part of some mountains or something in the mineral kingdom. So that consciousness is existing even before that. So there's no beginning. That identity is an I-ness. Without beginning and end is an I-ness, and the knowledge without beginning and end is a selfness. Okay, how these two are connected?
Brahmajnana.
Yeah, how these two are connected? I-ness, selfness and I-ness are related to what? Related to intelligence. That's where we are getting the light. Right, that's a light. They stand in the light because the knower is standing in the light. Therefore, it is intelligence. Knower is nothing but an intelligence again. So they do not stand in the fullness of the light as they stand clear light. They are themselves are a clear light. Okay, they give the light to the noetic atmosphere was so light bright. Why? Because all the knowers are there. That's how it became so bright. So, but yet this light is untouchable by anybody. Yet this light is untouchable by anybody. It cannot, you cannot reduce or you cannot increase. Okay, that's a thing. Human may be conscious of the presence of I-ness. Human may be conscious of presence of I-ness. It is also possible, but it is improbable. He will come in contact with the selfness. Though he cannot come into the contact by his own efforts, yet he made enough effort to in that direction. Selfness will know when it will let him conscious of it. So which means that there are people who wanted to travel towards selfness. With the consciousness, with the conscious efforts, they will be able to conscious of this selfness. Means you and me also trying to travel that direction to know that what is that self, what is that soul, what is that knowledge, right? So he, with the kind of the thing, he may be able to go and touch that conscious of himself. Okay, where is this particular, right? Where is this particular I-ness or a selfness is locating in your body? Through which part you can go to this I-ness or selfness? Any guess? You all can guess it.
Can you repeat the question?
Through which body part you can touch this I-ness and selfness?
Pituitary gland.
Pituitary gland.
Pituitary and pineal.
Pineal gland, exactly. So I'm so happy for 3.5 hours, years of work. Answer came straight. So within that upper brain, right? So whatever that we are seeing, that noetic purposes here through pineal gland. So the pituitary is the I-ness, pineal gland is selfness. That's where we are touching. So here, if you see, right, any of these, there are some, you can actually, people say, we can raise the Kundalini, we can do that, we can do this. What they will be doing is with the kind of environment they are doing it, right? When I'm doing that research, with the kind of environment, with the kind of music, or with the kind of thing, they will raise your energy.
Yeah.
So they with kind of some kind of a kumbhaka, some kind of breathing, they made you rise this energy through the glands, and they will make it touch that pineal gland. So when you touch that pineal gland, you feel that you at one go, you feel that kind of super happiness. That's where you say that, oh my God, we got it. But the thing is, as a part of the research, what I understood, you can touch, that can be done. Even our rishis or our munis, they can also do that to you. You can feel their energy, you can do. But whatever that you got it in those workshops or in those retreats or in those things will not stay with you. They will not stay with you. They are just making that because with their kind of practice, they can make and they can make you start, because it is a kind of hypnotized kind of thing, right? With their words. That is what I always like the book Power of Speech. With their speech, Hitler also has done with his speech only all the destruction, but these people are also doing with their words only, they are doing it. But that's again temporary, remember it. Only with your own sadhana, only with your own thing, when you touch that pineal gland, when you touch that pituitary gland, then only you will be able to understand what exactly it is. Otherwise, that retreat time, you feel, oh my God, any number of thousands you can pay and just be there. And then come out, right? So then after that, it is gone down. That ojas or whatever, right? We learn. Go and touch. When it is touching, you feel the kind of openings, kind of happiness.
We should
And
maintain that, otherwise it
maintain that.
stops.
How do you maintain that? When you
Without sadhana, it's not.
Without sadhana, it will not go.
Don't go.
It will not go. So these people are just, because they know the technique, they know that kind of, they can create that kind of environment, and they can make you do that. That is why everybody is saying, oh, I can raise the Kundalini. Kundalini can be raised even in an accident also. If some part hit, then the Kundalini can be raised in an accident, or with Hatha Yoga, Kundalini can be raised. But what is the use? You can only feel that kind of, oh my God, feeling.
Very
But
short time.
In some time,
Short.
right?
See, that is
Yeah.
the without light means without wisdom, we cannot sustain.
You cannot stay there. You cannot
we
stay
cannot
there. You cannot
maintain.
sustain. Maintain.
Wisdom is very important. Without wisdom, if you feel also, it's doesn't stay long.
So you are going and touching that pituitary, but pineal gland is not open.
Pineal
The
gland
knowledge
is-
didn't come. The
Yes.
knowledge did not come. You just hitting the pituitary. You are feeling that feeling. And again, the ojas will come back, because it is always gravity. To
It needs
hold that, you
check and
need to have a
balance,
lot of
right?
wisdom.
Feeling and that's feeling
Desire.
and wisdom both need to be achieved.
Achieved.
So-
Otherwise,
Yeah,
He-
the cleanliness, the cleaning the mind and become a pure. You know, if you are in ashramam, it takes maybe 4 or 5 days. You get that clarity. Then once you come out and exposed to this world, the clarity polluted little bit, you come back.
no, it's not the clarity. It is the energy that whenever you are in that particular field, right, in that audition, in that energy kind of thing is also making you to go there easily. And also when you go to that kind of places, you leave everything behind, basically.
Yeah, you
Isn't
are
it?
pure.
You
Yeah.
leave everything behind and you say, these 4 or 5 days I dedicated there.
Mm.
You are going in kind of a surrenderance mode also.
Right. Yeah.
But to maintain that, literally you need to have your knowledge.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you
knowledge-
cannot maintain. Once you come back, you will become normal. You are not going to stay in ashram forever, right? But those who are able to be there, they are able to maintain. But it is the thing is, they are away from the society, right? They were away. Some Himalayas, they are just doing it because anyway they are away from it.
Yeah. It's
So
easy.
it's easy for them to do it. But for you and for me to maintain that, it's hard. If
It's
you can maintain that, that's where actually you will touch that knower part.
It's a big war.
Big war within you.
Yes.
Okay. The knowledge, how it flows to you. Noetic breath, through noetic breath, it flows through you. That's all right. Through the noetic breath only, it flows to you. Noetic breath does not work directly, but through your mental, it has to come from mental breath, psychic breath, and then it has to come to the physical breath. So all the lower layers, if it is purified only, then only it will come to your brain. Otherwise, it will not come. The noetic atmosphere is not a matter. It is a light world. It's not like a physical world. It's not the matter. It's a light world. It has a matter, but that matter is intelligent matter, which belongs to triune self. It doesn't belong to the doer or a thinker. It belongs to the knower portion of the triune self. The atmosphere of the I-ness and selfness and the noetic breath are in the light of intelligence. They are all in the light of intelligence. So it permits the physical, psychic and physical atmosphere, the mental, psychic and physical atmospheres of your physical body. When all these get purified, then only you can go to that noetic atmosphere and get that knowledge. Okay. The light of intelligence throughout the noetic atmosphere, and the light impresses intelligent matter in that atmosphere. The knower and the thinker of the triune self are perfect. The doer is not perfect. So once he becomes perfect, only we can. The duty of the doer is make it perfect. First, we need to make that doer portion as a perfect under the guidance of the thinker. Then once you become a perfect with the thinker, then you can go that. Because once you become perfect means what? You are balanced with your feeling and desire mind. Once you balance the feeling and desire mind, then you can touch that knower portion. In a human, feeling and desire are thus not a conscious. Once you become a conscious of your feeling, conscious of your desires, you are balancing it. So then you are saying that, okay, nothing in the nature can be so conscious. In the nature, everything is so unconsciously going on. Nothing is conscious. You are saying, so he was so conscious means what? You are conscious of your body, conscious of your feelings. I say do the conscious breathing. In meditation, you say conscious breathing because you are not aware of your breath also. At least do the conscious breathing. Do that breath conscious so that that consciousness will extend. That's what they're saying, right? So he is not a conscious of your senses also. What your senses are doing, that also you don't know. Suppose there is some sweet that you like in your kitchen. Somebody got it. You'll just eat it because you're not conscious of your senses. Your senses did not say that they are hungry. Your body did not ask for hunger. Your tongue, the sense said, okay, let's have it. So which means you are not conscious of your body itself. If somebody says that you're not, no, I am conscious. This is a sweet and I know this is not good, but I want to eat it. But are you hungry in the first place? Many people will be even confused with the hunger, thirsty with the hunger. Whenever they are thirsty, they'll go and eat something. Because of that only so many problems you will get it, right? You're not drinking sufficient water, then you will not hunger so much. Okay. So these are all the things that the human beings are conscious, but not actually the conscious of consciousness. The system of one to think without creating the thoughts. Actually, where we have to go, the system of one, think without creating the thoughts. When it can happen, only when you have that self-knowledge. Only when you have that self-knowledge, and based on one's being consciousness and becoming conscious, aware of your higher self, higher awareness, then you will use the degree of your higher self in order to control your feeling mind and desire mind. Okay, let us say, because you are a spiritual, you have kids and you are supposed to do some certain things. So you may say that, oh, so do you think that I don't have any of these things? I should not do any of these things? No. As a conscious being, you are supposed to do it also because it is your duty. But you are not actually getting attached to it. You should know what to do, where to do, when to do, how much to do, where to stop. So this is what you are becoming, a conscious of consciousness. Being conscious, that is, one consciousness as it were a point of fullness or a boundless circle of consciousness will become. When your consciousness, right, that point of circle, the metaphor, whatever that we learned, right, lines, angles, surface, all the things will be in one consciousness, isn't it? Everything is in one consciousness. So on the intelligent side, there is no points at all. There is no point of circle. There is no circle. There is no angles. Okay, there is no development in the circles. All these points, symbols, angles, surfaces, circles are in that matter side only, but not the intelligent side. The system of thinking without creating thoughts is based on the use of training your feeling and desire mind. Training your feeling mind until feeling is isolated. You have to train your until the feeling is isolated, and upon successive use of other minds to become a conscious as the triune self. Then, because you become a desire mind, once you start the feeling mind, feeling only the desire starts. Right? Whenever you start having some kind of a feeling, suppose somebody got something that you wanted to have it, there is a feeling of jealousy started. Then desire starts, isn't it? Suppose, let us take simple. When you go out on a cold day, you feel cold, so you want to have a coat, isn't it? When you started this feeling mind, if you neutralize it, automatically the desire mind will be neutralized. So you are balancing your feeling and desire mind. Then there is a chance that you can go to the thinker. Once you go to the thinker with the balanced mind, it is easy to go to the touch the knower portion. So the triune self must go until the conscious as an intelligence, and on until the conscious of consciousness. Until that particular portion, you need to go and see that. So we will see now, because these are all the things that. So what are the main points that knower we have to take away from the last recapitulation, right? Knower is one of the three aspects of triune self. That's clear. Knower is nothing but a knowledge which is unchanging, which is complete, independent of your feeling, desire, and thoughts. Agreed? Then knower is a process of self-knowledge. This is not obtained or acquired, because it is already there within you. Knower is already there within you. You just need to remove your dust in order to see that. It does not engage in thinking to know. You need not think about the self-knowledge. You need to remove everything, then you will go there. It simply knows. You know everything. You simply know that. Only thing is you need to touch that point. You need to touch that point with what? Self-awareness. Boiling down to self-awareness and self-certainty. You need to go there. So here the two aspects of the knower is I-ness and selfness. So I-ness is represented by a passive side. Selfness is represented by active side. So I-ness is undying, continuous, self-continuous identity of the triune self. I-ness is identity of the triune self. It is residing in the noetic atmosphere where the clear light of intelligence exists. Okay, it witnesses all your inner activities like feeling, desire, thought, but it remains unaffected. Even if you do a murder, this will not do anything. Even if you serve 1,000 people and save 1,000 people's life, then also this will not get affected. Whatever you do, it is all with your doer portion. It is associated with pituitary body in the physical form. Pituitary body of the physical form, which filters the light of intelligence into the human system. It is filtering out. If you touch there, that's where, right, all these things it is touching, and it is actually going and touching that particular point. Suppose I can, means it's not a fair, you may say that comparing with even alcohol or a drug addict also, they will touch that point. That's how they want to go, that highness, highness, highness. Here also you are touching that point. Even many people may not agree, but even with these so-called retreats that you go, with all the high musics, they will make you to touch that point. Because they know that knowledge, they are making you the tons of money. But that is not permanent, I can say. You need to practice yourself. If you go sit there, 1 week, if you are actually daunting from morning 6 to evening 8, you will touch that point. Even forget about somebody, even if you all sit together and if you are doing from 6 to 8, you will go and touch the point and come back. Isn't not? For how many times that if you do the overnight or 8 hours meditation kind of thing, did you not touch that happy point? Is it a
Yes, sir.
permanent thing? Same thing that they are doing. That's what I feel it. It witnesses all the activities, right? It cannot be reached by the doer unless your thoughts are fully balanced. It remains unknown to the human personality for a typical life. Unless and until you remember your past lives, you remember what you have done, what is you're supposed to do, unless in my 10th insight case, unless you remember your birth vision, world vision, why you came to this earth planet, what is your purpose, how your purpose is aligned with the world purpose, all these things if you remember, then only you can touch this I-ness. Next, coming to the selfness. It is representing the active aspect and it is a knowledge of identity. Here it is a knowledge of identity, function and permanence in the entire triune self. It is again not affected by feeling and desire. It is associated with righteousness and reasoning. Through that you have to go. It sends the flashlights of rightness, and we say conscious, conscience. Human being, it's a conscience. Whatever my conscience is not agreeing, that is the thing, right? It sends a flashlights of reasoning, and humans, they say it is intuition or inner feelings. Okay, that is the thing that it is sending. These communications are very rare, but often misunderstood or overlooked by the human order. We know, I know something is saying inside, but I didn't listen to that. How many times you would have felt it? Isn't it? So intuitions, it is always saying. So what is that distinction between the triune self and human misidentification? Okay. Triune self is the human body feeling component expresses I-ness, which is the ego I. As I explained, right? I am Prasanna, I am so and so, so and so. If Sirisha asks me, I'll give this much introduction. That is all the ego I-ness. Okay. And desire component is also experiences the selfness, and again it mistakes the self. Again, it mistakes the self. Together, that feeling and desire from the doer is disconnected from the knower. Totally, we have disconnected from the knower. The self of the human experience is thus merely desire-driven. So when we can call that, when you are actually going to the higher self. But higher self also many things idealistically, morally, if you are right, then you say that I am a knower. No, you are reaching to your higher self. Knower is much more than that. Okay. If you are selfish, all the things you are going to the lower self. You are touching with your lower self. Why humans are not conscious of the knower? Knower is such a great thing. Why humans are not conscious? Because the knower exists in the realm of light that requires purity of thought and balance to access it. You should be pure. As a human being, you are imbalanced. You are wrongly identifying with your body. So you are not able to consciously access this higher consciousness. The noetic atmosphere is separate from the mental and psychic atmospheres. If you can go to that, then only you will be able to do that. What is the role of the knower? Knower does not interact directly with the doer. Unless the conditions like mental balance or self-purification, you want to get it, then only it will come. It means you have to put 100 steps towards knower, then it will try to interact. Okay, because this guy or this person is actually trying to know the knower, then it will try to help you. So whenever you balance was acquired, that means what is that 100 steps? When you acquire your balance, it will come. The knower acts only as a knowledge. Then you have to assimilate that knowledge and try to grow I-ness and selfness, right? You have to go inseparably. What is the key takeaway? Knower is unchanging witness. It is a source of knowledge. Remember that. Human misidentification is a false ego or a self. So don't identify with that. Real access of the knower comes from balancing thoughts, disciplining desires, living morally, and which aligns the right reasoning. That's how you can go. Conscience or conscience or intuition are glimpses or flashes that knower is throwing you. We are all getting intuitions in the meditation, right? So those are the flashlight that knower is throwing you. It is guiding to go towards the path, towards the true path. So one must distinguish your lower self and higher self so that you'll be able to grasp those intuitions. A human does not know he is conscious of consciousness. You should become that. Fundamental realization of consciousness, once you got it, then he is aware of, he is a being, he is not a doer. Aware of that being, aware of that beingness, self-awareness, not objective awareness, self-awareness. I am a consciousness. That time, so somebody asks, who are you? I'm a consciousness. When I can tell, that's where right? It's not that I have a knowledge I can know. I have to act according to that, right? Then. So being a consciousness or being consciousness as is different. Acting as a consciousness is different and being in the consciousness is different, right? So when you are being in the consciousness, I won't distinguish Bala Garu, Sirisha Garu, Rajni Garu and me separate. We are all that consciousness. You act that way. You perceive, I will not judge, I will not say good or bad. Everything is part of that consciousness, right? I'll conclude. I'm seeing the time, okay? He perceives the thoughts, desires, sensations of the body, but those sensations are not the being consciousness. They will think that those are all the body consciousness. What are the layers of awareness? Conscious of the body and parts is one, right? Is the first layer. Consciousness of your body and its parts. Then conscious of sensations is another part. Pain, pleasure, hunger. So this is another part. And conscious of emotions and thoughts is another part. Okay. So these are all the different layers of consciousness. But these are all not as the pure consciousness. These are all the body consciousnesses if you come. So the doer and the nature, the doer in the metaphysical concept referring the part of the doer means feeling and desire. That's all. If you are just taking, doer is a feeling and desire. The doer of conscious of nature is doing something identified with the nature. That is illusion of the doer only. If you are identifying with the nature, it's an illusion. Okay. Conscious of the minds. You know that body, mind, feeling, mind, desire, mind. That is another layer of consciousness. And next layer is thinking of self-knowledge. That's another layer, right? Feeling and desire, that thinking of that self-knowledge, that active thinking, reasoning and all, that is another. Then sensations, impressions made by the feelings, how they are affecting us. So, and becoming the conscious of the doer, like withdraw your body mind, withdraw your feeling mind. That's where you are actually balancing your mind and emotions. So that is the first step to become the conscious of consciousness. First aware of that feeling and then disconnect from sensations. All this pain, pleasure, good, bad, all the things you disconnect from it. Sensations want to enter into the breath form. A subtle mechanism started in your body mind. You need to disconnect from that. Then withdraw that attention from the body. You withdraw from the attention from the body. Give undivided attention to your thinking of balancing the feeling and desire mind. So do not get confused consciousness. Be in that light of consciousness. Do not get confused by identifying your emotions, your body as a consciousness. You are just, that is a one layer of consciousness. If you are aware of your feelings and desires, what is going on in your body, then it's a one level of consciousness. But self-awareness, knowing the consciousness as, requires a shift from passive awareness to the active awareness. That's where the ultimate goal is doer to become self-aware, free from the illusion, free from the illusion of being the body or the nature. That's where you can touch the intelligent side. With that, we can complete the knower. Hope I made it